Okay. Are we live? I guess we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. Today we welcome to our session at the conference called Life at Celonis. And today we'll have a panel discussion with a couple of women in technical positions here at Celonis to tell you more about product and engineering at Celonis. And today, so who will be on the panel? My name is Olena. I'm a senior software engineer at Celonis. I'll be the one asking questions and trying to moderate the session. Then we have Theodora Lata, like she is an associate principal product manager at Celonis. And Cindy Marine, she is a software engineer at Celonis. So welcome, ladies. I would like to switch on to you and start asking you questions. So let's start with the introduction one. So can you tell us, Cindy, would you mind telling us, introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background?
Yeah, hello everyone, I am Cindy. Well, my background is in software engineering. I graduated from college in 2007 in Caracas, Venezuela. Right after that, I joined what I always call the entrepreneurial adventure with 6 of my friends from college. We developed a B2B business over an e-commerce SaaS platform that we developed from scratch. I worked there for over 10 years and I did every possible job in software, I believe. I was full stack developer, support, QA, customer success. I did everything during those years. After that, I was already married with one of my colleagues. And well, things started to get very difficult in Venezuela. Personal security levels were non-existent. So we decided that it was time for us to migrate and to leave. So that is when I started a couple of years of traveling and working remotely and through South America. And after that, we came here to Europe and we decided to have a baby. I am a mom of a beautiful baby boy. And after being a mom for a full-time mom for around 3 years, I decided that I really wanted to resume my professional career. So I started preparing and studying and getting into interviews, and that is when I landed a job here at Celonis as a front-end software engineer.
Wow, what a great story. Thank you, Cindy. Theo, now to you. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, sure. So hi, I'm Theo. My background is in product management. Maybe if I go way back, right, I'm originally from Romania. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to school. And then when I turned 18 and I finished high school, I moved to Germany to study. I studied information systems there. So I did my bachelor in Germany, my master, and then also during that time, I did another study program that's particular to Munich. It's called Center of Digital Technology and Management. That was a really nice program where I started to work with cross-functional teams and cross-functional people. And then, after I finished university and finished all the study programs, I actually joined Celonis. So it was like 4 years ago. And, for the last 4 years, I've been responsible for various product launches, and I've been working in Munich, in Germany, for the last 4 years. And now recently, actually 4 months ago, as I started working on a new product together with Olena, actually, I had opportunity to relocate to New York. And I'm actually in the New York office right now, so I'm gonna turn my screen so everybody can see my view. I'm in one of our meeting rooms.
Wow.
So, I have a really nice view over Manhattan. It's really nice to also just come into the office every day here. It's like it's an amazing view. But yeah, a bit about me.
Wow. Thank you. And tell us what brought you to product management?
Yeah, so I was thinking I had I tried all types of things. Like I didn't, when I was in school or university, I had no clue about product management. I didn't know what it is, right? I always had some inclination towards the more technical classes. Maybe, I don't know why. Like my parents were engineers, my brother, so maybe just it's what I knew. And then as I in Germany, when when you're at university, there's actually most students work part-time, something related to their study program. So I tried everything I could throughout my study program. I tried even something in finance. Then I tried data analytics. Then I tried being a quality assurance engineer for apps. Then I thought I wanted to be a software engineer, and I tried doing that. And then I think throughout all of these things that I was trying out, I always felt like I'm more curious about the user needs, why I'm doing this task that I'm doing, what is it impacting, and then eventually I discovered there's a role called product management, where you're still close to technology, but you're responsible for figuring out that you're solving the right problem, and you're working together with a team of engineers. And that's how I was okay, I have to try this as well. Let's see if it sticks. And then I've been in product for the last 4 years. So I think I definitely found, what fits me the best. So yeah, that's my—
Wow, what a story. Thank you. And Cindy, now to you. Can you tell us what brought you into engineering?
Well, I think that I got inspiration from an uncle of mine. He was a mechanical engineer. And I remember being 12 years old, and he would come to me and explain some project of him designing some engine of sorts and trying to explain to me all the physics and math behind it. And I really love, all the ways that he will try to find solutions for these problems, and so I find solution in an optimal way. I really like that, to solve problems in an optimal way. And on the other hand, I had my dad. He was an oil painter artist. So I grew surrounded by all his paintings and brushes and oils. He would tell me about how to solve another set of problems, and how to train your eye to see things in different ways. So I really love that these two worlds were very different, but they have creativity, a common theme, in them. And then when I was 18 years old, I got access for the first time to a computer. And I remember that day, I was in awe, about the whole thing. I was navigating on internet, opening my first account of Hotmail, and I was mesmerized. I couldn't believe, And I got very curious about computers. Of course, at that point, I couldn't understand that this was going to be the future at all. But fast forward, when I got to decide in my life what I was going to do for college, for me it was pretty straightforward. I wanted to be a software engineer. I think that another thing that really weighed in my decision was that, I really wanted to help my family. I mean, I grew in a home when I had everything, but everything was limited, being an engineer was something very promising to me and to help them out. So I think, yeah, that was my starting point.
Great, thank you. Theo, now to you. We're switching back and forth. Actually, I at this point I wanted to mention so that Theo, she's in New York City office, and Cindy, she is located in Madrid, Spain, and you go to Madrid office, right? And I'm located in Portland, Maine. I work from home. We don't have an office here, but just wanted to showcase the international nature and of a company. So on to the next question for Theo. Can you tell us about the part of engineering teams that you're working on and about your perhaps day-to-day work? What are your responsibilities are and what product you're working on?
Yeah, sure. So I don't know how familiar the audience is with Celonis. So in a very high level, before I talk about what I do, I think what's really cool about Celonis, we're a very powerful platform, and we can, we plug on top of different processes that exist in organizations, right? Like finance processing, ordering processes, manufacturing processes. And what we do is on the first hand, we truly show how the process flows. And then we show you our bottlenecks, and then we tell our customers, you know, what they could do to solve these problems. And we also give solutions, so how to solve these problems. So we have like a very powerful product with a lot of capabilities. And what I'm working on right now is actually something that I call, you know, the first date with our product, right? So I'm working on a product where it's like, you know, because on a first date, like, what are the goals, right? You want to know who is this person? Are they for me? Like, do I want to pursue this further? You know, it's not, you don't go into everything in all the background, right? But it's more like getting a glimpse of, you know, what a relationship with this person could be. And so what I'm working on is like, it's a product that's supposed to be, you know, showing our customers a glimpse, you know, into what Celonis has to offer, right? So it's the very first thing that customers get to see. And it's how we, you know, what we do actually, we have like a question and answer based interface where we, you know, say, these are the most common questions about your process. These are the things that you should be looking at. Are these interesting for you? And then customers understand, oh, okay, so that's what our product, that's what Celonis does. Okay, I want to now dive deeper, you know, into these findings and, you know, touch, you know, all the functionalities of the platform. And on this product, I'm working, you know, with Olena and like other colleagues of ours. They are located in Los Angeles. Some colleagues are located in Germany, so it's very distributed. And now, like, we're getting ready for launch of this product. So these days, I'm talking to customers, getting feedback. We're planning out together like concepts, features. We're also always sharing I'm also always sharing like communication and updates with all of our stakeholders, our management. And there's also, we do have some customers that use it already. So we're always trying to figure out where could we improve the funnel by looking at, you know, analytics. And I think what's really rewarding, especially, is like when I talk to customers. Like just recently, I was talking to a customer, and like I think it will always stick with me. Like he was, there was this process lead, and he was looking at the software, and he had a smile on his face as he was like going to the product. And now I was like, wow, like my product is putting a smile on, you know, this user's face. Like I think that that's just the most rewarding part. And generally, when I talk to customers, like when we hear their stories, like how this is improving, it's just very motivating, you know, to work and to hear that we are actually impacting, you know, our customers' lives. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Cindy, now to you, same question. Can you tell us about the teams that you're working on, the products that you're working on, and about your working day per se?
Yeah, of course. I work for the C4C Plus squad. We are building a web platform for consultancy companies to access and manage their EMS projects. Being the EMS, what Theo just explained, the core product from Celonis, the execution management system. And these EMS will help businesses to find, you know, inefficiencies in their processes, right? And what is happening now is that consultancy companies that have been already for many years doing this, the same thing, helping their clients to find inefficiencies in their processes, they are now leveraging the power of this tool to come up with these insights and reports and information to their clients. So we basically trying to help them to, in their daily operations, access and managing these projects. Well, as a front-end software engineer, well, a typical day will be meeting with my team, planning over stories, helping our PM, you know, to come up with some technical implementation details, estimations. Then we will move on to implementing these features, components. And, in our team, we work with the API first approach. And we are actually a very small team. We are 4 programmers, 2 backends and 2 front ends. So we really rely heavily on automations, you know. So for example, right now we are implementing Cypress, an open source tool to integrate end-to-end tests in our project. So we are now implementing this in our pipeline. And another thing is that in our front end, we use the Angular framework. So currently, we are implementing a state management library, the NGRX library, and it's pretty cool. I really like it, and I'm learning a lot.
That's very exciting. And here I wanted to kind of create a connection. So I do work with Cindy sometimes we discuss what is a good like frameworks to use or the tools to use. So I'll be actually learning from her experiences of implementing Cypress, this open source tool for automation testing for the projects that I'm working on. So that's how I know Cindy. We collaborate, and with Theo, as she mentioned, I'm one of the engineers on the teams that Theo works with. We implement Theo's ideas basically into the product. Okay, thank you. So our next question is about women at Celonis and your experiences working as a woman in tech at Celonis. A little bit of an infomercial for the company, I would say. What is the opportunities that you feel you're having, and can you tell us a little bit about being a woman in tech, I guess? Theo, to you.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting question and don't know exactly how to answer it. I'm at Celonis, like I'm aware there's a lot of initiatives. We have like a community, like Women in Tech, and we meet and, you know, have sessions. I think there's a lot of, especially even for mothers, there's a lot of advantages that Celonis has to offer. I'm sure Cindy knows more about that. I think for me, like why I'm struggling with this question is, if I reflect on it, like I've been here for 4 years and I never felt like that me being a woman is somehow different. You know, I never had a situation where I'm like, oh, I'm being treated differently because of my gender, or like, oh, if I never had a thought in a situation was like, oh, if I hadn't been a woman, something would have been different. So I think, you know, I think Celonis is doing a pretty good job at, like, you know, they have this culture of diversity and acceptance. And I think, you know, people are focused more on, you know, just being motivated, doing the best they can, and people are empowered and rewarded. And I think I'm lucky, and, you know, I've definitely heard it's not like this maybe in every company, but and I'm struggling a bit to answer because I I never feel somehow different than anybody else at the company.
Yeah, I love this answer. Yes, thank you. That's the best answer one could give, actually. But sorry, Cindy, on to you with the same question. Your experience of working at Celonis, did you notice anything different from a perspective of women being a woman in tech working at Celonis?
Well, I couldn't agree more with Theo. You know, I mean, after a year working here, you know, this company has a value that is the best team wins. And after a year, I could really see that this is something important, you know, in the whole community that work here. I mean, when you go to work, you can you only find people that want to be of help and they support each other. And I haven't encountered anything related, you know, to this or a disadvantage of me being a woman. And I feel very, very happy and very proud of a company that has this, you know, like these values. And another thing that I could remark is that there are a lot of resources and spaces that the company builds, you know, for people to talk about, you know, stereotypes or trying to gather, you know, feedback of everyone and try to build, you know, and iterate always, you know, on everything and build a better environment. And so I really love this about this company. They really put an effort to make everything and everyone welcome and to build a very diverse space for all. Yes.
I would also like to mention Two things. First is that, so I'm an engineer on a team which is based in LA. Most of the folks are in Los Angeles office, and there I have four friends, women engineers. They also work as a staff software engineer, senior engineers, and there is like four other women working on different teams as engineers. So I do not feel alone as an engineer in my position. So that's thing number one. I also wanted to mention the generous family leave that Celonis has. For US, it's generous, 6 months of full pay time off, like after you start your family. And also there is an interesting program with a very catchy name called Celo Baby, Celonis Baby. I guess if you were to have like a family edition during the time when you were working at Celonis, Celonis will be generous enough to give your child some shares in their own account. There's a special account for the baby so that they can have future kind of like money to start their education. So that's kind of interesting. So great family leave here in the US and in Europe, and the Celo Baby program. Also, I would like to mention that just most recently, last week, we had like a great meetup, like a kickoff for women in tech at Celonis, and we had attendance from leadership. The CEO of the company was in the room listening to our feedback, giving his feedback, and it's I feel like it's an open conversation, and people do really care to create like an open and diverse environment. Okay, so now on to our next question. Theo, to you, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in a career in product management or in tech, or like overall in product, and in particular if they're looking to apply for a position at Celonis?
Yeah. So I think what depending on what your background is and what you're currently doing, what your role is, maybe you're currently not in a product role and you want to move into a product role or considering it. I think since I tried so many things before landing on product, I think my advice would be like just seek out opportunities where you can work in cross-functional teams. Like seek out opportunities where we can work with people from different backgrounds, different roles, because I think that's when you kind of understand, oh, okay, so there's, especially when you work with engineering and design, if you have an opportunity like that, you can figure out, is the product role something for me? Like for me, when I first worked with like a cross-functional team, was when I realized, okay, I think I found what I want to do. I think this is how I can contribute to the team. And I think that's really important. And in general, like just, be curious and try things out. Like, especially like, for example, at Celonis, a lot of people transition into product from different roles, right? So if you have opportunities like that at your company, like give it a try, see if there's options to switch internally. And I think in general, like, or more specific now on Celonis, what I think, I think what it's important if you want to be like in product at Celonis, like we are a company that we are very fast paced, we work very agile, things change a lot, we keep up with the trends, we're never, like we always want the next best thing, like we always want to improve. So I think in an environment like that, it's really important to, be adaptable to change, right? Like things change fast, you have to change topics, change priorities. And also what I learned is, and I think this is general advice, I think this is, a lot of good product managers have this, you focus on the problems, right? Not the solutions. Like it's very easy to like, fall in love with a solution, and then but I think it's more important to obsess over the problem and like understanding the real problem, focusing on the problem. And solutions come and go, change, iterate, the world changes. Don't stick to the solution. I think that's when you can also thrive in an environment like Celonis. And also I think in Celonis we have a very good culture of people like going above, beyond and above, right? Like if there's something, and maybe it's not particularly your role, or like everybody like wants to jump in on things, do anything they can to see things move forward. And especially in product, I'm saying like we want to be fast and iterative. There's this mentality of everybody just like wants to go above and beyond and do whatever they can to make this a success. So I think those are like some of the things that I'm seeing in my colleagues and product at Celonis.
Okay, thank you. And Cindy, now on to you. What type of advice would you give to somebody who is trying to start a job in engineering, or if they're looking to join Celonis? Any tips and tricks that you can?
Yeah, I mean,
provide?
I think that what has helped me a lot is being, I mean, like, it's important to focus on growing your skills, you know, that is always important. But I believe it's important as well to get to know yourself, do regular self-assessments of yourself, you know, have an updated list of your strengths and your weaknesses and what is that makes you unique and that you can bring of value to the table. And having this clear, you know, is going to give you the confidence to go and be brave and be bold and navigate through difficult situations, challenging situations. And another thing that I would say is learn to manage stress, you know, get to know what are the things that are going to help you to power up your energy and do those things, you know. And yeah, I agree with Theo, absolutely. I mean, follow your curiosity. I mean, that is so important to have purpose and to be inspired by it. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Okay, thank you. And I guess I will try to answer the same question as well. I am a software engineer, and I gave a talk this morning for those of you who attended, where I also talked about my career. It was an autobiographical one where I was trying to give some advice and share my learnings and thoughts on my 10 years of career working as a software engineer, and how I progressed in my career, changed companies, changed teams. And one of the advices, like for finding your very first position, is don't give up. Expect that it will be a lengthy process. Just take it as it is, that it will take a while for you to do a lot of interviews and to hone your skill. With each interview, you are honing your skill of telling others how useful and like creative you would be as a member of that team or the companies that you are applying for. With every interview, you are becoming better at telling people the story, at answering their technical questions or what have you. So just don't give up and take it as quantity will turn into quality by doing a lot of interviews. Eventually, you will get to the point where you will get a job offer. So my advice is persevere, don't give up, and just expect that it will be, nothing is easy in this life. Okay, and I guess we're, any closing remarks from Theo or Cindy? So I guess one last comment that I want to make is that our colleague Katie, she'll be sharing the LinkedIn profiles for all three of us in chat. So if you would like to reach out and you have further questions, please do so. Also, don't forget that Celonis has a booth here at the conference, and you can come and learn more about Celonis and talk to some of us there, and other engineers and product managers and designers and other technical disciplines will be present there as well. So have a great rest of your conference. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.